All right. Hello. Welcome back to the Oddcast Podcast. My name is Jonas, and this is a student-led project with a focus on politics, news, recent events, and just general discussion. Today we have...
Hey, I'm Everett.
Hey, I'm Brandon.
Hey, I'm Peyton.
I'm Francisco.
I'm Martine.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Valencia.
All right, so let's get right into it. So, Everett's going to be introducing a topic.
Okay, so this is pulled from news24.com. A teen electrocuted herself after dropping an iPhone that she was currently charging into her bath. She was 15 years old and from Russia. She's a very intelligent young girl.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, wait, it was charging?
Yes, she was charging it while she was,
why.
watching shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, dumb.
Large brain.
That's
brain.
just, okay.
Well, she had a lot of promise.
Well, yeah.
According to this article, she was a champion fighter. She a martial arts champion, and was recently selected to Russia's national team.
God.
Wow,
So
that's
she had a
some
lot of
time,
promise.
right?
Yeah.
As a fighter.
Yeah. Well, that's horrible. That's just horrible.
It's not the
this whole
first time
thing.
it's happened.
It's other cases of this happening to other people.
Oh my god. 12-year-old Russian girl identified only as blank blank was also electrocuted when her smartphone, which had been charging, fell into her bathwater.
And a 21-year-old pregnant woman from
Oh my
from
god, no.
Eastern France died the same way.
A 14-year-old from Texas died the same way as well.
There's
Just days before she
Don't-
was due to give birth.
just don't.
Oh
my god.
More than 8
Yeah.
months
Why
pregnant.
do
That's
you have
rough.
your phone charging in the bathroom
That's rough.
anyways?
Just don't go on your phone while it's charging in the bathtub.
On December 12th, a 16-year-old boy died after being electrocuted by listening to music in his earphones while charging his phone.
Oh.
Oh my god.
That's
So
just,
this isn't an
So I'm
isolated
sure we've
incident.
all been guilty at some point of having our phone near water.
Well,
in the bath.
you should
like just
never.
watching something in
You
the
should just
bathtub.
never use anything electronic in the bathroom.
That's a
But I'm
lesson to
sure
learn.
most
Have
of
my
us
laptop
have been
in the
guilty of it.
Yeah. Well, not me.
Not
never
Jonas
go
because he's
on.
special.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we never drop it, one, and we never charge it while doing
Yeah.
that.
You never use anything that's plugged in while it's.
I mean,
least-
yeah, I can understand why you don't want to use it near water, but dying because you're listening to music while your phone is charging.
Yeah,
While you're
that's-
pregnant.
No.
Well, not that one, but another one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's.
That's and apparently this kid from Malaysia, 16, is the fourth person this year to be killed by listening to music while his phone is charging on his headphones.
What type of phone was it?
I don't know. I don't think it specifies.
I
But
feel like it's mostly iPhones.
Yeah, as a loyal Samsung user.
I feel like
Our
it's the
phones,
type of
our
phone
phones
I don't
stopped
like.
blowing up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our phones stopped blowing up.
As well as having headphone jacks.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's well,
It-
of course that would be a problem. More problems with smartphones and human interaction, because 80% of the population now has smartphones.
oh yeah.
80%. That's including poor countries. What? 80%. That's insane.
The 7-year-old girl in Brazil apparently died while sleeping with her earphones, which had melted in her ear.
What?
Caused a huge electric charge.
Gosh,
Ow.
Oh.
that'd be a horrible way.
I mean,
to
but
go.
then if it melted, is it really the fault of the girl or the manufacturer?
Manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it's
Because
Apple, it's
she
an Apple
prolonged
earbud.
yeah she prolonged exposure, but
Well, they
I
say.
don't think they intended on it melting after long periods of working.
Yeah, the testing should be a thing. But I think they're I think they say to never even use your phone while it's being charged. It's
Yeah.
bad for the battery.
yeah.
but
It's bad to start charging it if it's not completely dead.
Yeah,
it's
that
actually
too.
just bad for the battery. If my phone's at 83%, if I plugged it in now, it's actually not good for the battery.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
And all the
Yeah.
articles I'm looking at stating when people have died using their phones or getting electrocuted by it, it's been an iPhone.
Seriously?
Yes.
Coincidence?
I think
not.
Conspiracy.
I mean, crazy stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's true that has Apple been sued for any of this, or have people tried to get Apple? Because I haven't heard any of.
I haven't heard
I haven't
anything
heard anyone
either.
trying to just
Yeah, I feel like this would have been big news.
Maybe Apple's
Yeah.
keeping it hush hush.
Yeah.
Probably. Won't surprise me.
But anyways, in other news, what else do we have?
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, so about a week ago, there were allegations
Thank you.
made against Neil deGrasse Tyson for sexual assault. I believe now, a couple days ago, it came out that 4 women now are saying stuff. I don't really agree with, like, one of them sounds really weird to me. This one woman, she had a tattoo of a solar system on her shoulder, I think, or back of the shoulder, and Neil allegedly, like, went back there, or, like, looked at it and, like, put his hands on her and, like, made her uncomfortable. And, I don't know, he like, clarified in this tweet he made that, he didn't understand, like, he didn't know at the time that made her feel uncomfortable. And yeah, and then the first one that came out was actually that she, like, made an announcement, I think, like, a couple years back, saying, like, Neil in college had, like, drugged her and raped her. Which is, like, that's, you know,
That's a
big time
Big
stuff.
allegation.
But all the, like, other allegations that followed have been like sort of like minor, so to speak, like uncomfortable
Compared to-
situation
Yeah.
compared to that. Yeah.
The only one that I remember was one where, like, she worked on as some part of the crew for, like, Cosmos or something like that. And he invited her back to his place for, like, I don't know, food or whatever. And so they had wine and cheese, and then she discovered that he was trying to probably trying to get with her, right? And so, like, when they left, he did some weird thing called like a Native American handshake or something, where you literally put your fingers on their neck to feel their pulse while staring straight into their eye for a small period of time, which is, like, I don't know. He was obviously trying to, like,
You could
further
you could
the
assume,
relationship.
You could assume, like,
yeah,
in some
but
way,
but it's
maybe.
like it's weird how
how
that's
it would be
supposed to be,
rational
like,
for some
bad,
people to assume
though.
that. Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a weird allegation because he didn't actually, like, do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Besides.
Like all the other
But
ones that
it
came
was a
out-
coworker though.
Yeah.
So I mean that does kind of make things
a little weird.
Yeah.
But,
all
like,
the other ones that came out after that, though, they, like,
I mean, like, naturally allegations afterwards would,
like, they
like,
weren't-
continuously become harsher.
No, but they weren't harsher. Like the
What
main
about
one,
the like drugging?
That was the main one.
Was
that
the
was the
fir- that
first
was the
one.
first-
Well, I think because of
But
the
all
allegations,
the
he-
other ones that came out after it were, like, not as bad compared to that. Like, it just seemed like uncomfortable situations, like
Yeah.
interactions with people like that, or like the
Isn't that what happened to that one Indian comedian? Like
which one?
Ajit something.
Aziz
No.
Ansari.
Aziz Ansari. Like something.
I didn't
something a
hear
lot
about
like that
that.
happened.
I didn't hear
think.
about anything with him. I mean,
Well, basically, it was something where they didn't really feel comfortable, but he didn't actually do anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those, like, might not hold up in the court of law to, like, the sexual assault, but the initial one, they're like Cosmos or National Geographic, I think, is the like company that runs Cosmos, the show, and they're doing an investigation into Neil right now. So
Yeah, I was reading an article. It was like other companies I worked for, like National Geographic, and I don't remember the other one.
well, yeah, Cosmos is currently
Yeah.
on National Geographic. Yeah,
All right.
but anyway,
So
Yeah.
for our next topic, which I feel like can get more out of our quieter listener, or I guess speakers, Florida man who stockpiled nearly 4 tons of explosives sentenced to federal prison. A Sarasota man has been sentenced to 5 years in federal prison for possessing explosive materials as a convicted felon, according to the Department of Justice. Mark Jason Levine, 57, had prior felony drug convictions which prohibited him from possessing or selling any explosive material. As it turns out, Levine was doing both. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives began investigating Levine for selling explosives without a federal license or permit in 2016. In January of that year, ATF and Sarasota's county sheriff officer seized explosive fuses from a shed behind Levine's residence. So the man was hiding 4 tons of explosive material.
4 tons.
What was he planning to do with it?
Like,
Sell it. It sounds like.
well, yeah.
How does he hide that?
Like,
That's a lot of explosives.
yeah.
In a shed.
And like, imagine if that went off.
And he was a
Oh
felon.
gosh.
It's like,
Was this like I don't know, like
This was 7 hours ago.
were they like military grade explosives? It's just like TNT and like I don't know, like
They don't really specify. They just say
Gunpowder.
explosive material.
huh.
okay.
Strange.
Maybe there's a selection.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was also selling drugs and explosives
Uh-huh.
at that time. And he had a website where he was selling explosive fuses, and the website was called thepyropro.com.
It's still up.
Is it on
No,
the
it's
deep
not.
web?
It's when you look it up, it says 403 forbidden.
Yeah.
So I think they
Makes
shut it
sense.
down.
You could just sell that on the internet. Like, it's just
If you're sneaky.
Yeah.
You have ways.
like that's like deep web stuff, like selling it on the internet. But like, I wouldn't imagine.
How long would he have how would it have taken to stockpile 4 tons of explosives?
Where would he get
explosives
it
in your
from?
house?
Yeah.
Like, why did it take people this long to find out? I
No,
don't know.
they've been investigating him since 2016.
Oh, so they've been keeping their eyes. on
They've
him.
had their eyes on
How did
him.
they not figure out that somebody's selling explosives and drugs after 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, they have to figure out that
No, like 2.5
build a
years, probably.
case around it.
Mhm.
So they have
Yeah,
to be
that's
rock
true.
solid about him, so they will
'Cause-
get him if they arrest him.
because they have to prove it.
Mhm.
Um.
And you have to get like some substantial evidence to get like a search warrant for their house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can't just go in there and like happen to find explosives.
He's meeting with people every once in a while, giving them strange packages.
Suspicion.
He always goes into his shed, where the shed seems to be completely full of something. I can't really determine what it is, though.
And then he comes out
Hmm.
with packages.
Yeah.
Wonders.
No, but okay. What else? No, but yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Should I go?
We should go into.
Speaking about explosive
The-
topics, conservative
Uh-oh.
gays.
Oh my god.
Ah, that was a good transition.
Good transition.
So, from the concourse, they posted an article yesterday titled "Conservative Gays Need to Shut the Fuck Up" by Lauren Thiessen.
So the article like kind of goes into like how one other individual who was gay but also conservative feels more stigma against his conservatism and then his homosexuality. And then the article goes on to say, like, oh, yes, I would hope in a utopian society like that people are less stigmatized for their homosexuality and more stigmatized for their political beliefs. And then it goes on to say, like, conservatives, like, of course, why wouldn't you criticize conservatives, like, people who, like, think it's okay for children to be tear gassed and, like, for like war to break out and all this like kind of crazy stuff. I mean, not exactly that, but
it also says that conservatives generally believe that it's okay to kill sick people.
yeah, like I think
It's funny though, because it talks about a utopia where people are noticed for their political beliefs rather than who they sleep with. But in this article, the entire article is about their belief that certain political viewpoints and certain sexualities are connected, and how that
Yeah.
sort of like image is being broken because it's not the reality.
Mhm.
and them whining about it.
Yeah. And it goes into an individual case, and then it generalizes like the whole conservative, like everybody who's conservative and gay. Like, like you could have counteracted this one individual argument, but instead you chose to, it's probably for clickbait, but like use this whole broad term of conservative gays.
Targeting groups
Yeah.
of people
Yeah,
based on their sexuality.
exactly that. Yeah,
It's good. Good stuff.
it's just kind of ridiculous.
Thanks, journalism.
All right.
Great.
So for our next topic, the civil war in Yemen. Yemen's 4-year civil war has produced the world's worst humanitarian disaster. The conflict between a Saudi-led coalition supporting the Yemen government and Iraq-aligned rebels has killed at least 10,000 people and pushed 14 million more to the brink of famine. There's a story that I want to talk about. A 4.5-year-old Rakan Nabid no longer responds to his mother's touch. He no longer smiles at the sound of her voice. He used to weigh 40 pounds. Today, Rakan only weighs 9.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
Rakan and his mother, Aida Hassan Ahmed, are among the hundreds of displaced women and children streaming daily into the Al-Sadak hospital in the southern city of Aden. They fled their home hundreds of miles away in Hodeidan, a strategic port city that has been the site of the fiercest fighting between the Saudi-led coalition and the rebels. So,
Wow.
It's just horrible.
Why don't world leaders just duke it out?
I know. Like proposing something like that. Like, why involve the? Well, I mean, like, if it's a group conflict, like, then you can't really do that. But like on a larger scale, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
They're trying to increase the average IQ.
Gosh.
I found something that sounds kind of interesting. Panel investigating Parkland's shooting recommends arming some teachers.
That's where's
like
the
that.
where's the
Brandon.
panel
I like that.
located?
I
Gun
like
law,
that.
gun law expert.
Hold on.
Okay.
I didn't say I was an expert.
No, I know, but like, you probably know more than us.
is relative of a
Or
police
use
officer.
Well,
It's gonna
being
plug
somebody
us.
who's always around cops and shoots guns, and do I think we should bring guns in the classroom? Not necessarily. Depending on how it's done. I think if we had more advanced technology as far as safes,
Mhm.
then I think that would be a more viable option. Not a good option, but a more, like if instead of passcodes and stuff, if it was more biometric,
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as-
definitely.
allowing these teachers to quickly get access to these guns, then it would be okay.
Mhm.
As long as, or
Like a fingerprint.
I don't know. I've
scanner.
thought about it. Like, yeah, something like a
Yeah.
fingerprint. But then again, if a teacher is unconscious, something could happen with that.
Yeah.
But like, I've thought about these things. It's like, what if there was something in administration that would activate these safes
yeah.
in the
Like
case
a-
of an emergency?
Yeah.
Somebody from administration could open up these safes
Well,
and make these biometric scanners or whatever, like turn them on.
mhm.
Essentially,
What if they don't have time?
that's another thing. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't really.
Well, like with the funding thing, like that would probably cost a lot of money, like
for sure.
nationwide.
For sure.
So like maybe just deploying like.
Probably won't cost that much.
Why do you think so?
Oh,
Well, I
the
mean,
pistol
the-
doesn't cost that much money.
Well, the case, and then the pistol.
Well, and then the
And then the
training, and then that would
and
cost
the-
a lot of money.
So then, like, why wouldn't they just hire like a guard or something, for example?
Well, I mean, we
most,
already
most
have.
schools kind of do.
We already
Yeah.
have the resource officers and stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really bad.
I don't know.
Because it would be weird to have to send one's kids to a place where the teachers now literally have the ultimate authority
Yeah.
over their children, even though like they're like legally probably wouldn't be to use it unless if in a very specific and dangerous situation. But still, that would be strange. Also, again, yeah, like the potential of it falling into the wrong hands,
Yeah.
like just having weapons
Well,
there
yeah,
continuously where
that's
people know
why
where
I
they
felt
are.
like administration activating.
Yeah.
But imagine like they activate the cases in case of an emergency, but then there's like the teacher is incapacitated and they don't know it. And so now the cases are activated.
I kind of had an idea. What if it was like, you guys have seen The Purge, right?
Yes.
Like the part where they just click that one button and it locks down the entire house. Like something like that, a system where like you can just close off an entire.
It's
like,
so
your
draconian.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think the reason why they don't like do that for schools is because it costs too much money, and it'd probably be cheaper just to give the teachers like a handgun or something like that to protect them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, even though
Teachers don't get paid enough to
Yeah.
be trained with arms and have that responsibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'd probably want to give them like a non-lethal or like I don't know, something to incapacitate the shooter rather than kill them, because the probability of like someone of them like accidentally hitting another student would probably be really high if they haven't had any training.
That sounds
whatsoever.
like
Beanbags don't always work though.
Well, yeah, they don't always work. But like if you aim kind of in the, I know it just depends on where you aim, but they wouldn't be successful most of the time. But
If their adrenaline's high, it's not going to do too much. Trust me.
Well, there's Oakland University in Detroit area. It's taking a unique approach by arming students with hockey pucks.
yeah,
Hockey.
That's like the bucket of rocks thing that went around a couple months ago.
keeping a bucket of rocks in a classroom.
That's always an option. You know.
As long as you have one baseball player in there, you know,
Yeah.
just like hit
Well, you
something.
throw enough,
Smash
eventually
those, I know.
one will hit them.
Yeah. That's
We also have scissors in the classrooms too. So.
Well, yeah, but
But it's
it's
scissors
close.
against
You'd
a
have,
gun.
you'd
What
have to
about
get really
that?
close, and that's kind of impossible.
Yeah.
Unless
Get a
you were
bucket of
to throw-
scissors. You know.
Just throw the scissors
Yeah,
at them.
throw scissors.
Ninja stars. I don't know. Something.
Still,
Oh.
Darts.
I say we go medieval and just start creating death holes where we drop hot tar down.
Yeah. Sounds like a good
Have
idea.
the
Build a moat
stakes
around the school, you
sharpened.
know? That's all we need.
Yeah, we need a moat and a drawbridge, some alligators.
And if
We're
they
all
get-
good.
Just guerrilla warfare in the school against the active shooter.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so we just have breaking news. No, Everett has a new article.
What is this? December 9th, there was an article released by The Telegraph titled "Universities Launch a Drive to Recruit More White Males as Low Numbers Give Them Minority Group Status." These are
Okay.
these are universities in Britain.
Oh, in Britain. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know much about.
Potatoes
I know
have
in the U.S.
time.
like
Well, in the
definitely not the case.
in the U.S. there's been a trend where men are not enrolling in colleges nearly as much as they used to. Like since the 70s, it was about 58 to 42% male to female in colleges, and now it's about 56.5 female to
Oh,
the rest male.
huh. And why is that? I
Well,
heard
I mean,
about
there's
that, but-
I don't know why. Could be because college is really expensive, or I don't know.
Maybe
There's
more
a-
women have been going to college now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have been. That's
Yeah.
the numbers.
Yeah.
Even more.
But like, why are they doing it, and why are men not doing it?
Yeah.
It's like,
Just stress.
oh, are you saying more women going to
Yeah, more
college
women
is
are
the
going to
reason
college
why
is the
men?
reason.
I don't.
I would say that's one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
strange
that
because
would-
if you
that's
increase
possible.
you increase the population, of
Like,
women
not-
It could be a
obviously.
combination of both.
Yeah.
Not like as in like logically, but like in the male's mindset.
Mhm.
Like that's a reason. That's interesting.
That could be. Yeah.
That would make sense because in the 70s, I don't think that many women were probably like going
Well, it
to
was,
college.
I
because
mean,
the idea-
42%.
Well, yeah,
that's
the-
pretty. That's like.
The idea of going to college for women, like education for women, was like growing in like the 70s, and it's just been consistently growing so far, I think. And like, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure, but like, since like women's rights has taken like a foothold, I mean, I guess it would make sense if more and more women, just like the numbers of women that get education opportunities and are able to go to college just increases, you know, as that goes along.
Maybe.
By 2020, I believe it is. It's the numbers of the 70s are expected to exactly flip, whereas now we're like 1.5% off.
Okay.
I don't know. That's strange. But what about in Britain?
Oh, so basically as males and white people generally are their enrollment is dropping in Britain a lot. So some schools are starting to basically make affirmative action for them. And like a lot of people are having a problem with it. It's only like 3 schools so far.
Oh. Huh. But that's still like.
If it's like
Strange.
universities, that's like a large population of students too.
Yeah, and it also depends like what areas they live in because different groups live in different areas. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't expect that from like Britain or some place where
Mostly white.
mostly white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange. But now to the big.
Let's rewind.
Let's rewind.
Oh my
Ah.
That was horrible.
Okay, let's talk about it. YouTube rewind. That's
most
hot.
dis-
That's hot. It's hot.
We hated
Uh,
it. Saw 10 seconds and I
The
clicked
most
off.
disliked video on YouTube at the moment.
Mhm.
Just broke the record.
Way past baby.
10 million.
That's crazy. That's
It
it
was-
beat it. In
so
how long?
fast.
And
How
like
long?
in
Just
24
so
hours.
fast.
No, not in 24 hours.
No,
it didn't
It was
beat it in 24
published
hours.
December 6th,
I know, but
so 7 days ago.
There-
I heard
it-
last
it-
night that it was at 8 million, and now it's at
7
10
days.
million.
It didn't beat the most disliked in 24 hours. It like hit some
It got the
Some
most
goal.
dislikes in an amount of time, like
in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has
Like 5 or 6 days.
121 million views. 1/12 of those people disliked it. Let alone if somebody watched
Dang.
it twice.
wow.
I mean, I guess I could see why, because like,
Because it's terrible.
I
yeah,
watched
it was
the
extremely,
first
it was
5
it was
minutes,
horrible,
I was like,
and like
Yeah.
instead of, because back then it used to be like just YouTubers, but now they're adding like reality stars.
Well, it opened up with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did not like
I didn't
that.
even
I didn't like
recognize
it.
It's like
anybody.
A YouTube rewind with like a celebrity, like
It's
It-
like
So
like we
I guess
it
they're-
didn't encapsulate what YouTube was. It's
Yeah.
just-
I mean, and looking back at like 2017 YouTube Rewind, they like this year I didn't recognize most of the YouTubers that I saw, but in 2017 you saw so many people that were like big names in YouTube at the time and like familiar faces that even if you don't watch their videos you still know who they are. But like this time I don't know, they failed to include like so many like big names
Yeah,
on YouTube
yeah.
and stuff.
Like-
I don't know, it didn't seem like
Silly.
that big of an event.
Where was H3H3? Where was I mean PewDiePie kind of made it in there with the
Well,
chair.
yeah.
But he wasn't
and then
supposed
But
to.
yeah.
Well, especially right at the end with like the PewDiePie versus T-Series things that made headlines in YouTube, with Mr. Beast and other major channels all giving shout outs to subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it didn't really encapsulate YouTube. Like I didn't even recognize any of them. I was like, why? This isn't YouTube Rewind. They changed it into something else.
Yeah. Like
They're just losing touch.
where I was kind of upset. Like where was Shane Dawson? Because like he's not even like controversial that much.
He's
And
kind of gotten controversial
Has it?
now.
It's-
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that stuff a while back.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about YouTube.
Okay,
more.
yeah,
Let's
let's talk
stay
about
on
that
that,
for
and then we can
It
segue.
says right here that Justin Bieber's video Baby took almost 8 years to achieve the numbers that it reached for disliked, but it bypassed it in like 8 days.
Yeah.
That's insane.
7. It was
That's
like it hit it
crazy.
like last night, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess I could see why, because like YouTube, it used to be like, oh, everyone's here, and then now they're kind of losing touch of what they used to be. I feel like most of the YouTubers that were included are kind of like family-friendly YouTubers, because you didn't really see.
Yeah.
And then that part where they got super sentimental.
Yeah.
That was
They were
I-
tooting their own horns
I
so
felt
hard.
like they
Yeah.
were just like reaching at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
They-
just felt like it was
trying
the
too
emotional thing. It all needs like a little emotional
They,
flair.
they included family-friendly YouTubers that were inactive like for most of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they weren't even a part of YouTube this
Yeah.
year.
And also, what was up with Casey Neistat and the K-pop? Like,
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
horrible.
I
that
have it
was
right
so
here.
bad.
I think what I liked about YouTube Rewind last year
No.
is how they made so many different transitions during the video, so you
Yeah.
got to see like new people in like every minute basically.
Mhm.
And in this, there was like that campfire scene basically. It basically stretched during the whole entire
Video.
video, and you didn't see anything new. It was just the same thing for that whole entire time. It was
So it opened with Will Smith saying, "We get to choose," which is obviously a lie.
Yeah.
As in the YouTubers get to choose what's in.
Yeah.
And he says Fortnite and Marcus Brownlee. Marcus Brownlee is a smartphone reviewer.
Yeah.
And even he came out after having been in YouTube Rewind and said, "Guys, I kind of regret being in YouTube Rewind. Basically, what this is for YouTube now, to YouTube, is an advertisement of YouTube for advertisers
Yeah.
to come to the platform, and it's not a celebration of YouTubers and what happened on here at all."
Ninja was in it.
Yeah.
Like he's not a YouTuber.
He's a streamer.
on Twitch. Yeah. That's
he
his
just
main
has
platform.
a YouTube channel where he posts clips from his streams.
Yeah.
It's
The,
just
the
like-
only reason why he's in is because they added Fortnite and like
The battle
he's
bus.
one of the
Yeah,
biggest
they-
faces of it.
Yeah.
They did too much Fortnite.
Yeah.
It was,
Like, it was a big part of the year, but
yeah, they could have
It
just
wasn't everything.
the
Yeah.
first slide that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But then they like made it like into this whole thing. Like who are the talk show hosts who were like
Doing the Fortnite
this is
dances.
so goofy. The
Oh my God.
what's his name?
Was it Lemon?
No. Yeah, him and what's the other guy?
The British one.
Yeah, the British boy. Him. I don't know his name.
Yeah, and he did the dance where he like
Was
rapped at his crotch.
Yeah, I don't know, it was just so bad. It was just so bad.
And then they added like mukbang into it.
okay, that was good though. And the ASMR part, I
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true. That was a big part of the year. But just like the rest of it, like it was the things that were big were like minor, like things this in YouTube Rewind.
Yeah, in comparison to YouTube Rewind 2018 and 2017, over the course of a year and 7 days, it has more than 20 million views with
200 million.
same thing. With 3.9 million likes and 2 million dislikes.
So there's
That's a
been a
big
steady
jump.
decline.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big
Steady
jump.
decline of like YouTube Rewind quality.
Yeah,
8 million more dislikes. It's crazy.
yeah, but like 2013 apparently was
It
like
was
the
good.
best.
Yeah.
I used to like watching
it's
YouTube
2013.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it used to be fun to watch it and like see what happened.
Like
throughout the year,
I
and
used to
now
be
it's-
like, oh hey, yeah, I remember that. And
I
then,
think the quality of YouTube in general has been slowly declining. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's completely true, but
well,
like
this year was
Well, I
just
feel
terrible.
I feel that.
just of like the amount of control that YouTube is having over YouTubers now.
Well,
It's
not
just-
even they're branching out to like, of course, like India and like other, countries, and it's just like becoming kind of insane, just like how much reach YouTube has.
I know.
Yeah, and it's crazy that like PewDiePie is like going against a big corporation like T-Series and like
Yeah,
PewDiePie vs. T-Series has been way bigger for the platform than all of
Yeah,
the
than
things
everything
mentioned in YouTube
in-
Rewind
yeah.
combined.
yeah.
like that's the biggest part of 2018. And I can't believe that they didn't really like talk about it that much.
I mean, I get it was close towards the end of the year. If they
Yeah.
did want to do it, they wouldn't
Yeah.
have much time, but I feel like that is
They
something.
could have at least referenced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Small,
Instead of
like,
instead of
cameo.
leaving it up to an
Something.
animator
I don't know.
having
Throw
to
in a
do
printer
it.
or something.
And like I guess it's just because he kind of got blacklisted after the anti-Semitic jokes that he made, but like
And the bridge.
yeah,
And
but
the
like that was
bridge,
so
yeah.
long ago.
That was the main thing, the bridge. Yeah, PUBG, the
Yeah.
stream.
I just think that YouTube just doesn't want to like show YouTubers that they're having problems with like on their YouTube
Or
Rewind.
have voiced that they're
Yeah.
against some things. of
Yeah,
YouTube.
because like YouTube gets angry with a lot of like the people on the platform for like what they do, and they have to like ban videos or do stuff about that, and they just don't want to put them on YouTube Rewind to just not give them the satisfaction. But then some of those YouTubers, like the biggest ones out there and the ones that a lot of people enjoy, and so you can't just really just take them out because that's like basically what YouTube is just like a platform where people can like go there and like be themselves
Not
and like
anymore.
yeah.
Well, like what's super strange is that like the company is bending over backwards for the advertisers, and like that makes no sense because they have the views, they have the market, they're the ones who are controlling it. The advertisers should be bending over backwards to YouTube and saying, "Oh, hey, can we please advertise on your site?" Like, because you have the most reach out there. But I don't know why it's
Yeah.
become this other way around. It's like
Yeah.
it makes no sense on a
Google
market
could,
stance.
Google could keep YouTube on live support probably for a very long time, and YouTube's probably, yeah, you're right. YouTube's
It
probably a
makes
lot more
no
attractive
sense.
to advertisers than Google is to them.
Yeah, because literally, like, I think 1 million views every minute for YouTube. It's like, why would you ever, like, you're a titan of industry. Like, why would you ever?
You own our generation.
Yeah.
You own like all people under 25.
So why would you let somebody control you? Like, how does that even work? I don't know.
Well, because like the advertisements were like getting stuck in front of videos that the advertiser didn't kind of agree with, so then they're getting unhappy.
Well, like you could just be like, okay, so.
Yeah, was it one of the biggest stories? Like, an advertiser had their advertisements like before like an ISIS video or something.
Yeah, something
They,
like
pulled
that.
out.
Apparently, like a lot of stuff was doctored for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those images of ads going over bad things.
It's just like, well, like obviously that's bad. You don't want that, but like at the same time, it's like you can also set your own like standards. You don't just have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. It's like people will still want to advertise on your site. Like anybody else could just like come in and take their place. I'm just saying.
I like how a lot of those images that came out so long ago, where it was like, oh, our ad went over video from the KKK. It's like YouTube, even then, like for a very long time, has blocked the ads off of videos that were so not subtle
Yeah.
as to have like swear words and things like KKK in the title. Like ads wouldn't go on them anyway. The doctoring was very not subtle.
Yeah.
And yet it happened anyway. Because public opinion. Well, actually, not public opinion, because corporate opinion.
Yeah.
But we have another member who's joining us, Adon. So he's back.
I got a new topic that's fairly interesting. Boy Scouts of America considering filing for bankruptcy, reports say.
That's sad.
Wait, did that get into the podcast?
We talked about
we talked about how
declining numbers.
No, we talked about like women
The
wanting to
lawsuit.
join.
The lawsuit. We talked
No,
about
but
the lawsuit.
did that get into it?
We talked about it last
We
time.
talked about it a little bit.
You talked about it again.
We didn't go in depth.
No, but no, we didn't talk about this bankruptcy thing.
Make
That-
sure
is
you
that
don't
new?
Are
watch
these are correlated,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it says the Boy Scouts of America reportedly mulling filing for bankruptcy protection amid dwindling membership numbers and costly sex abuse allegations.
Okay, so this is different.
Yikes.
This is a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
No, this is
Gosh, the
interesting.
Boy Scouts are not doing well.
Yeah. They should start selling popcorn.
Scouts.
Start selling cookies. I don't know.
Cookies.
So okay, so the Boy Scouts started accepting women into their ranks, and then they got sued by the Girl Scouts, and so but before they were being attacked by feminists to allow women into their ranks, then they allowed women into their ranks, and then they got attacked by the Girl Scouts,
Yeah.
and now they're instantly facing sexual assault allegations.
This article doesn't go in depth about the costly.
I think
sex
that's
abuse.
more on like an individual like basis
Yeah,
that the company has to deal with.
Basically, the only thing it says about this is the organization founded in 1910 is currently facing a number of lawsuits alleging inappropriate conduct by employees or volunteers in incidents dating back to the 1960s.
Oh, so like,
yeah.
But then the company is being sued for like.
For those
Oh,
incidents.
why are they waiting so
Oh.
long?
Well, I mean, I
Well,
think
recently
it's
with
been
the
over
Me Too
time. Yeah.
movement, it's like,
yeah.
And because
Well,
the
yeah,
Boy
over
Scouts
time.
are really weak right now. They're getting beat up.
yeah, they're basically down for the count,
And
basically.
I'm pretty sure with any kind of sexual harassment, I think it's hard just to come out, because then people are gonna think different.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, it's good to speak.
Well, it's
up
it's
and-
probably been like over time like a buildup of these cases.
Like ever since
yeah.
1960s.
Yeah.
obviously.
Rather than just like, oh, like
Oh,
it
I
just came out now.
I
or-
remember.
So it's not
Yeah.
not as related to it.
It doesn't help.
It's been like an underlying thing that like no one really.
But
talks
it's
about.
not related to the
It's
whole
not.
Girl Scouts thing.
It might-
not
no,
according to this
no,
article.
I'm pretty-
There's potential it could be.
Well, like I mean, it was just encouraged.
because like a lawsuit
Yeah.
could totally put you out of business. Like,
Yeah.
No more Boy Scouts. Come on.
I mean, something would come up to replace the Boy Scouts. People are always going to want to go camping with
The
all their
Scouts
kids.
of America.
I'm surprised they didn't find their like old Twitter, all their tweets, and they put it out
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, all the situations.
I wonder what they'll call it.
I mean,
I just find
No,
Scout
no,
Gate.
no,
Scouts?
no. I thought there was like talk about Boy Scouts just changing to Scouts of America.
Huh.
I would that would be a
yeah,
lot
makes
better.
sense because like I'm just
They're-
confused of like why Boy Scouts would allow women to join when there's a Girl Scouts, and then why not just bring the two
Exactly.
organizations together and just
That'd be a
make like
powerhouse.
Scouts
It's
of
not that
America?
dark.
I think the
Not
more
that deep.
feminist people were getting mad that girls couldn't join because like equality. But then on the flip side, why aren't boys allowed to join the Girl Scouts on the flip side? So why
Are
It's
they?
a double standard.
No,
Yeah.
boys aren't allowed. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
yeah.
I mean,
Boy-
if it
Boy
goes
Scouts-
one way, it should go the other.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts like last a lot longer, so it's like Girl Scouts end I think in middle school, but Boy Scouts last a
until
lot
you're
longer,
18.
and then it's like a lot like harsher training. Obviously, I mean at that point it
Yeah,
becomes
it's
a high
difficult
school
level.
extracurricular.
Was anyone here in Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts?
I was in
Cub
Cub
Scouts.
Scouts.
It's the preschool, the Boy Scouts.
I just went to summer
Uh,
camp. That's it. I mean, I don't know if that counts.
I had a friend who just became an Eagle Scout like last year.
Like people kind of
And, like-
care if you were
And
an
yeah,
Eagle
you-
Scout.
It's a big thing. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like he got like a really big reception and all that stuff for that, you know. And so I don't know. I mean,
That's probably why. It's because it matters if you've been an Eagle Scout, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so
and I'm
much
sure
if you've
like
been a Girl
colleges
Scout.
like to look at that.
They do. They do.
This is like long-term commitment. And
Yeah.
all that, yeah.
Yeah, Harvard's like, whoa, you're an Eagle Scout.
I think the Boy Scouts already changed their name to Scouts BSA. Like once they started allowing girls into their.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so looking back at our memories, we were talking about rewind. Now let's go all the way back to 2010, when Kevin Hart posted some tweets on the platform Twitter, and these tweets were very, homophobic, apparently.
Like, well,
He said in his tweet that if his son was came out gay.
No,
if he was playing with dolls,
he would take that dollhouse and smash it over his sunset or something like that.
Yeah.
But he, in one of his actual comedy performances, he made that joke.
oh,
Emphasis on the word joke.
right.
And that was around the time 2010.
Yeah.
And he says he's like, I remember he said like every little boy has their gay moment. Doesn't mean they're gay, but like every kid like has their moments. It's kind of talking about how it's just kind of part of growing up.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
puberty.
Never
and
around Ben Mickens.
and
cut that out now.
and
No,
You don't have to.
I don't know. I just think he was just trying to get at like the fact that him being a straight man, he doesn't necessarily want, like, he'd be okay. He'd love his son the same
Mhm.
if he was gay, but with Kevin Hart being a straight man, he would like his son to be like him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like I would understand the rationale behind it. I mean, but like again, like you can't control like your child. Like you wouldn't want them to be 150% like you, like a spitting image.
And it's like with how he's responded to these to the resurfacing of these tweets. He's like, if you don't think somebody could change in 10 years, no matter what, he's like, I'm almost 40.
Yeah,
He's like, if you don't think people could change, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah. Like there's a lot of
And also, like,
8
he's a
years. Yeah.
exactly.
there's a lot that's happened in those 8
They,
years.
their
years, yeah.
their
Like,
career
like,
is
okay,
based on
so-
controversy.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on. Like, it was 2010. There's been so many people that have their tweets resurfaced from, like,
Yeah.
2010, 2012, 2013. And, like, that was the comedy back then.
Yeah,
Like,
it was way different.
It was our
humor.
culture back then to be
Yeah.
like, oh, that, like, don't be so fatty, or, like, don't be so gay, or, like,
Yeah.
use some type of racist slur. Like, everybody used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and now
Everybody
that, like,
still
people...
uses it.
Exactly.
Yeah, people still-
And,
A lot
but,
of
like,
people
now
still
it's,
use
like,
it.
so much more
But you
controversial
say it.
because our society has become so hypersensitive to this stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just look up resurfaced tweets, and then Haley Baldwin, Kevin Hart, Kyler Murray, the Deer Whisperer, Brother Nature, that dude that like always like
Oh yeah.
talk, like that,
He,
like, hangs out with
that was
animals.
back in 2008.
Exactly.
2008.
And then Patrick Richard, Jamie Lee Curtis, like so many people, like especially YouTubers too, have like had their tweets resurface, and it's like it's not that deep.
They
Like,
weren't
was
even
a
relevant
long
back
time
then.
ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like
And also, it's also comedy. You know
Mhm.
that they live off that. So I mean, if you go to a show and you're like, oh, this is bad, you know, I don't like, then don't go. It's like, why did you go in the first place if you weren't gonna like what you hear?
You
Most
used
of their
your
comedy.
160 characters to make a post 10 years ago that I don't like.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Most of their comedy is dark, and like people find it most funny when comedy is dark because that's when you can like connect to it. But like if you're gonna resurface a tweet that's almost 10 years old, that's kind of like misjudging a person.
Yeah. It's also like it's kind of like connecting it back to the YouTube thing, like being like advertiser friendly, quote unquote. Like,
Yeah.
Like being so sensitive and being so aware of your actions that you like can't be yourself. Like it's like to a certain degree, like I mean like know when like things are certain or like inappropriate, but like as a comedian, that's your job, like to be inappropriate, to like be funny and like it's like obviously not with like an ill intent. Like your job focuses around making people laugh and happy. Like that better be what you're doing. Like so it's like,
And Kevin Hart was gonna be the host for the Oscars too.
He
And
stepped
then-
down.
Yeah, and then because all that stuff happened, then he said he's not. He did like a sort of apology, but he said he wasn't gonna take it down because it's still kind of, you know,
History.
No, I think he did take him down.
Did he?
I thought he did.
No, I don't think he did. We're doing a lot of I thinks.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't.
we
do
should be
I
doing
thinks.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
plus with the internet being the internet, you know, nothing's really ever lost. I'm pretty sure somebody probably took a screenshot it
Yeah.
out there, so they're not really gone. You can probably find them somewhere.
It used to be that movies and films and whatnot, like a long time ago, were heavily censored due to like distribution companies and whatnot, using like very like Christian inspired rules.
Yeah.
Right. So there was like no cussing, nothing sexual in movies. I feel like YouTube has
It's like going back.
rebirthed that. The world has rebirthed that in like a weird
way.
anti-religious way,
Yeah.
as opposed to the heavily religious way that it used to be before.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Because it's like going back. It's like
Yeah.
repeating history, you know? It's strange.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like YouTube. I remember watching channels, you know, say some bad words, and I was like, this is kind of funny. But like now, like I don't see them anymore because they're like, oh well, now YouTube isn't.
You get demonetized.
Yeah,
They
so
want-
now, yeah,
they
we have to
rocks.
go. Yeah.
And like going back to that, like when we were all like 12 at that time. Like
Yeah.
When it was very
we
popular.
were 12, we were 10.
We
We
didn't.
thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, like, we didn't.
And that's kind of what made YouTube so
YouTube.
special and different for us because I mean you'd go on TV and you'd see like SpongeBob or Fairy Odd Parents, and you go on YouTube and you'd see like
real people.
people were like, oh mother, you know, that was funny.
Yeah.
Now
No,
the,
could,
now
like,
the new
learn-
12-year-olds
Yeah,
are
now
gonna
the
have
new-
their tweets held over them 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the 12-year-olds are like, like doing the Fortnite
Now all the new
default
12-year-olds
dance.
are like watching like videos that are like poorly animated and like don't have swear words in them, and it's
Yeah.
just somebody like pretending to be all happy and jolly.
Muffin time.
Yeah. Muffin time.
We're all watching Shrek on loop.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
YouTube poop. That used to be a thing.
YouTube poop? What's that?
You guys remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's
I
so
remember that.
dumb.
That was so long
But
ago.
it was so funny. I don't know. They're just stupid, dumb comedy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now like, those are not popular anymore. You know, so.
Yeah.
I sound like an old person right now.
Gen Z.
Oh, you don't see those anymore.
The age of filthy.
Back
Back
these past few minutes were back in our day. We were allowed to use these words and now.
Yeah, I remember YouTube has like this small section where it's like, oh, watch back, and then like I see old videos and I'm like,
Yeah,
good times.
The age of
Okay.
filthy Frank is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not possible anymore.
Yeah.
It's
And
sad.
did you see that thing where Steve Carell like said like he wouldn't reintroduce The Office because
It wouldn't survive.
people nowadays wouldn't be able to
Oh
handle
yeah,
it.
because it was like
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And because
It wasn't even too.
it
It wasn't even too bad. It was just like
No, not that. It was like controversial.
it wasn't even controversial.
Let's.
Like the topics weren't even controversial like that they used to bring up in that show.
collard greens.
Colored
That's
greens.
not what you call them. I was just watching that episode.
Yeah.
It was funny.
There's we can just talk about this really quick. Did you hear about the news about Netflix buying, like keeping Friends for something $1 million?
It's not that good of a show.
$100 million to keep Friends on Netflix for the next year.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
$100 million.
We'll see.
I don't.
That does.
Unlike
Why?
YouTube.
I was never a
Are
fan.
they getting
Yeah.
that many views on it?
I know.
I know a few people who enjoy the show, but like
It's like
not-
all quirky
I-
white people that like
Yeah.
the show.
I-
Well,
Like, Donna, everyone's
well,
like,
it's not just that. Me personally,
like-
I don't hear any guys saying they like the show.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of women.
I feel like
saying
the
they
only
like
time I've
show.
ever watched Friends is when I'm not watching.
You know,
Friends.
later-
It's like background noise.
Yeah.
Things to fall asleep.
Yeah, like I wake up
Somebody
and I'm like,
watches
oh, Friends is on.
Watch
Whoa.
Friends, I feel really triggered about
Change
us talking
channel.
about it like this.
You guys ever remember like waking up in the middle of the night to
No, I
Yeah.
The
Dude,
horrible
I
nights
still
was
do.
when I wake up and all I hear is, "Boo!" This is an emergency alarm. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my god,
The
my
George
ears.
Lopez.
Oh, Robot
Yeah.
Chicken. Do you guys remember?
Oh,
that?
that's-
I used to
remember
turn off the
Robot
TV
Chicken.
when that
It was
happened.
super good.
Do you guys ever watch Mad?
Yes.
Is that still
Those
on?
were those were good. Those
hated
were
it.
good TV shows at the time. You know, Robot Chicken was good, even though it was like dark.
really
but that
good.
was like
Well,
so
Comedy
good about
Central is still doing stuff like that.
No,
Mhm.
yeah,
No,
we,
no.
we have South Park.
Yeah,
That's what we have.
yeah. South
Yeah.
Park is still
South Park is alive.
it. We have The Simpsons, Family Guy, but those are really the only. When I watch TV now, I watch TV for like news because I don't know. I
We've
feel
grown.
I feel old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
You
really
like what, guys? You watch the
TV.
news?
I don't really
every
watch
Wednesday.
TV. The only
I
thing
do,
I'm like
that's-
anticipating is the new season of Game of Thrones, and like that's it.
You guys remember watching Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yes.
Such a great.
That was such a cryptic like.
It was
All of that
it was
weird
twisted.
stuff like Chowder. and
Yeah,
everything.
Chowder.
Okay, Chowder was
God,
super
Chowder
good,
was
though.
so good.
Chowder wasn't.
What was the one with like the
Chowder was
sailor
so
and the
good.
whale?
It's so good.
Flapjack Finn.
Flapjack.
Yes.
Flapjack was so
I
fun.
feel like none of that stuff would survive
Yeah,
anymore.
it would
Yeah.
not.
I feel like the last good Cartoon Network show was regular show. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Regular
even
shows
then
are
that
good.
ended like last year or something.
Yeah.
And Adventure Time ended. Well, that was kind of good.
We all know that the only media that you should show kids is Finger Family Time songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, like now, like we talked about in our last podcast, go make sure and watch that one. We talked about how silly, sometimes TV shows are like now.
Oh,
Yeah, like I don't
yeah.
really like watching them. I'm just like,
Dude, I still get,
very
cool.
I still get entertained by them. If I'm really bored, I just turn on the TV and watch whatever's on.
Nick-
And that kind
Nickelodeon
of shows you
still-
the level of like quality that is declined if people can enjoy like the shows that are being like broadcast now. It's just like
yeah.
I don't-
it's slightly disappointing.
I don't even remember the last time like channel surfing. I don't remember the last time like when I just quickly like scrolled through like Disney Channel. I don't remember the last time I saw like a live action show.
Or a show I
No,
recognize.
they still have live action.
They have
shows.
so
Really?
many live action
I haven't
shows.
seen any.
But they're not
Every
they're
every
not-
time
not
it's
there.
it's,
so
It's like a
bad.
cartoon. Every time I scroll through, it's a cartoon, and I'm like,
What time do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Get
watching
on
like
3, 4 o'clock.
I remember watching like I'm not gonna be ashamed, but like Big Time Rush, iCarly, SpongeBob.
Those
See, I never watched it, but I
Those
miss
were
seeing
the
their
shows.
commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
But like yeah, those were like the really good times.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to wrap this up with some good news? You know, California, it's almost always on fire for some reason. So
Yeah.
recently, with one of the deadliest fires in California history called the Camp Fire.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure pretty
Go
much
watch our
everybody's
last
aware of it.
podcast.
Yeah.
Um, when Andrea Gaylord returned to her home in Paradise, California, she was surprised and overjoyed to see her beloved dog Madison survive the fire and was waiting patiently for her to return.
Oh yeah, I heard
I
about
saw
that.
bet your
that,
cat wouldn't
yeah.
do that.
What a last name.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
It's a lot of people.
Well, in good news, there's a trailer teaser for Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh
saw
my
that.
god.
Oh, and
wait, there
Avengers.
is?
Oh, we didn't talk about Avengers.
Hey man, Sonic the Hedgehog.
You're gonna have to, listen in to the next podcast when we talk about it.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah. All right, thank you everybody. Have a good Christmas. Bye.
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 Merry Christmas.
Adios.